probably read and reread You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay at least 5 times. And every single time that I do, I keep on learning something new. When I say that it's changed my life, I mean that. After reading this book, I began to act and show up differently in all areas of my life. In my relationship with myself, in my relationship with others, in the way that I performed at work and in school. Absolutely everything. And it's because this book taught me the beginning foundation of the mind-body connection. Now, for those of you guys who aren't very familiar with that, it basically just means that your mind and your body are connected, so you want to take care of both. And Louise Hay talks about a couple of different things in this book that explain how you can use that understanding to make yourself better, happier, and overall more fulfilled and successful in all areas of your life. And I want to bring this book up because I want to be able to tell you guys a little bit about it and hopefully inspire some of you guys to read it for yourself, but also just to really understand how it's the small things like reading a couple of pages of a book a night or even a week that can make a radical change in your life. Now, I want to tell you how I first came to read this book. So it was after my sophomore year of college, and I was, in summer break, had a little bit of extra time on my hands, and my mom came to me and said, "Christina, I have a book I think you would love." And so she gave me this book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And at first I received it and I said, "Mom, my life is not that messed up. I don't need healing," or whatever it is in there. And that was just coming from a place of misunderstanding on my part. And she said, "No, this is a great book and I really think you would love it." And I had a little bit of extra time. And so I said, "Okay, fine, I'll read it." And so I started reading it. And it just absolutely blew me away. In the very beginning of the book, Louise Hay starts by talking to you about how you should start to treat yourself with the kindness that you would treat a child. So an example that she gives in here that really resonated with me is, let's say that you have a child who makes a mistake. Let's say that child decides to color on the walls with some crayons. Now you have 2 options. You can either go up to that child and tell that child, "You are a failure, you are awful, no one's ever gonna love you, you don't understand, nothing could ever make up for this." Or, you could tell your child, "We don't do that." That is not something that we want to continue to do here, but what you can do is you can clean it up and then you can do better tomorrow, and I believe that you are wonderful and you will grow up to be a wonderful boy or a wonderful girl. Now, which of these do you think the child will respond better to? If you're thinking the second option, then you're probably right. And now we should also start to think about this in terms of ourselves. How do you treat yourself? I know for me personally, this is something that I still very much so work on, but if I make a really small mistake, in the past, I used to be really intense about it, like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a failure and I'll never be able to do anything good." And it was this internal dialogue that was holding me back more than I thought that it would. And at first I thought, well, no, I should make sure to hold myself accountable and this and that. And there is some truth in that. But you don't want to be so hard on yourself to the point where you beat yourself down so much that you almost feel like it's harder to get back up. And that's something that you are more so in control of than you are probably aware of. It really just comes back to understanding this and then taking the time to really take note of your own thoughts. So for me personally, this started, I started to notice these negative thought patterns with my appearance. I would look in the mirror and it was like my makeup could never look pretty enough, my foundation was never smooth enough, like there's always something wrong with my outfit, and in reality that wasn't true. Or even, in school, making little mistakes here and there, and definitely always do your best, but it's the kind of thing where once I really decided to read this book, take those words to heart and take a step back, I was able to develop so much more true joy in my life, and also appreciation and respect for myself in the efforts that I do make. So now whenever I make a mistake, and again, it's not always like this, but an active effort that I make is if I do make a mistake, I say, "Okay, Christina, we made a mistake. what can we do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? And what can we learn from this? Not, you're a failure, you're awful, you're not going to do anything good, right? Because those words are not, they're not positive, they're not helpful, and in reality, they're not actually going to help you be more successful as much as identifying the problem, being kind to yourself, and then moving on from it would be. There's a couple other things that she talks about in here that I just wanted to highlight and bring up to you guys. So I'm going to go to my bookmarks. Okay, let's see. So the first one that I have in here is from page 15 in this book, and she says, many of us have foolish ideas about who we are and many, many rigid rules about how life ought to be lived. This is not to condemn us, for each of us is doing the very best we can at this very moment. If we knew better, we had more understanding and awareness, then we would do it differently. Please don't put yourself down for being where you are. And this goes back to the same point about treating yourself with kindness and remembering the inner child inside of you. It's okay to, appreciate where you're at right now and forgive yourself, but then also to see that bigger goal and that bigger picture and know that in order to get there, there's someplace new you want to be going with your life. You have to really respect yourself and you really have to love yourself. It's so important, honestly. This is something that I can't even begin to explain to you how much it changed my life, because this understanding ripples into all different areas. Your relationship with yourself, your relationship with other people, because as you start to develop a greater understanding of love and respect and even forgiveness for yourself, then you are also able to apply that in your relationships with others. So for me personally, I felt like I was able to have more understanding in my relationship with other people once I had more understanding for myself, because instead of, reacting and being angry and, oh, you suck and this and that, I would kind of take that second of, well, maybe this person doesn't know any better. Maybe we just need to talk it out and have a really quiet confrontation and then be able to work on things going forward and see if this can both work out for us for the better. So if you guys have any interest at all in continuing to learn about this, I 120% would recommend reading You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Incredible book. And if you do read it, I would love to hear what you think about it. Please drop a comment below. Tell me what you think and tell me if any of this helped you, because I would love, love, love to hear about it. And also to hear about, if you have any thoughts on here on this book that I haven't explained before, I would love to hear what you think and what you got out of this, because we all get something different out of different pieces of media or information. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will talk to you again soon.